What do we have here?
Okay, that's my family.
Okay.
My sisters, I had 8 sisters, and only one brother. There was 2 boys, so one brother and me.
Okay, so who do?
And okay, this is, I'm supposed to mention by name. Their name. Okay, this is Edna, Doctor, Laverne Reeb, and this is me, of course.
A handsome-looking fellow.
And this is my brother Elvin, and this is Cincinnati. Have you ever heard of a?
She's married to a Reeb.
Reeb, yes. And this is Marlis, my youngest sister Marlis. She's married to Grazel. And Odella. She's married to Hauf. They live up in Golden Valley. I guess I didn't mention it. Okay, this is Virginia. She was married to Irvin Schauer, and she passed away.
She was married to Fred Fondrick first, LeRoy.
Okay, Fred Fondrick first. Her husband died, and then she remarried to Irvin Schauer.
Okay.
And then this is Esther. That's the oldest in the family. She was married to Edward Becker, and she passed away. And this is Vivian. She is married, also married to a Reeb, and now she's married to Vernon Hansen, and he's in the home. He's got Alzheimer's. Okay. Oh, and my mom and dad, yeah, okay. My dad passed away in 1959.
Okay.
And
how old was he then?
He was what was he, Alice? Do you remember?
79, I think.
79, okay. And my mom passed away in 72, I believe, and she was 69 when she passed away. Her maiden name was Rembold, right? Yeah. Okay.
So, here's a question. You have all of these sisters. What was it like growing up with so many sisters?
Not very pleasant, I'll guarantee you.
So, was the oldest one a?
This is the oldest.
The oldest one. So there was 2 brothers.
Just me and my brother. Yes, right. There's 2 boys.
You guys had it bad.
Oh, did we ever?
But at least you shouldn't have had to help around the house with any household chores.
Did you? That's what you think. We did anyway. We ended up helping some, but not like if there wouldn't have been. If there'd have been that many boys and only 2 girls. So yes.
So is this the entire family then?
That's
the youngest?
That's the entire family. That's the youngest, right? Yeah.
Okay.
She now lives in Michigan.
Yep.
Okay, sorry, I could have.
No,
okay, and this is also my family.
Their spouses.
Their spouses,
okay.
right? Okay. This is Virginia, the one that passed away, and this is her husband, Fred Fondrick. He also passed away. And then, like I mentioned, she married Irvin Schauer. And this is Laverne. She's married to Reeb. They're both alive yet. And, of course, this is Alice and LeRoy. I don't know who they are, but anyway, they're still together.
How do you put up with him?
and this is and this is Vivian. This was her first husband, that Reeb that I mentioned, and Elida, that was my brother's wife, and he passed away. And this is Nettie, and her husband. She's married to Reeb, Oscar Reeb. And this is Edna. That's Richard Doctor. She's married to Richard Doctor. And this is Esther. That's the oldest one. Is married to Edward Becker. And then she wasn't married at the time. That's Marlis, the one that lives in Michigan. And Odella, she wasn't married either then yet.
So did you guys take family photos often together, or was this?
Oh, every now and then I guess we did, yeah.
These are the only ones that I've got of the whole family.
Okay, yeah, there were some taken, but
How
not.
old were you guys in this picture, you think?
Well, I was married, so I must have been at least 10.
We were married probably.
No.
We were
No,
married probably
I was-
4 years.
4 years? Okay.
Mhm.
How old were you when you two got married?
I was
19 and he was 20.
20. We got married in July, and I turned 21 in September.
And I
So-
just turned 19 in May.
So how did you guys meet?
It's not that I didn't know what I was doing. Hey, so.
How
Okay.
Yeah, how did you guys
Oh, how did we
That's the
meet,
story.
Alice? Oh boy, that was a story. Go, you tell it.
He come along with his dad's big, what was it? A Chrysler?
Dodge.
Dodge. He had these big, long, four-door Dodges, and I think the trunk was about as long as the rest of the car. And he come to a girlfriend's house that I was at, and her boyfriend was with him. And they were going to take us out to the New Year's dance. So we all piled into the back car. There was me, this girlfriend of mine, Edna Schaefer, the friend of his, Leo Kinsley, who was with Edna Schaefer, and two of his other girlfriends, Alice Doctor, and who was the other one? No, it was just one other one. And Esther Schaefer.
Stretching it.
So there was 1, 2, 3, 4 girls and 2 boys. And the one girl sat in the front in between the guys, and the rest of us were in the back. And all of a sudden, this Edna, this friend of mine that was in front, she says, Alice, come here. She says, I want to tell you something. So she whispered in my ear. She says, LeRoy wants you to come into the front seat too.
Do you believe that?
Yeah. I believe everything Alice says.
I wouldn't.
I says, no, I don't want to. Yeah, she says, come on. And she egged me on till I finally consented. He stopped the car and I got in the front seat. So there was 4 of us in the front seat and 2 girls in the back. And here this one girl, I didn't know that before, Alice Doctor was her name, had dated him before. And here he tells me to come to the front seat. Why didn't he tell Alice Doctor to come to the front seat?
Because it was 54.
So-
Because he wanted to have 54 years of everything downhill from there, right?
So after that, we were dating. He worked up at Garrison Dam at the time. They were making those big tunnels, and he worked there, doing cementing or rebarring, whatever it was he was doing up there. And well, this Leo Kinsley was too, and that's why they were always together. So anyhow, and Edna and I were friends. So
how old were you when you two met then?
I was what, 18
Oh, I think we only went together for
for a
a
year.
year.
Yeah, about.
Yeah.
And he forged his signature when we got our marriage license. Did he ever tell you that?
No, I did not. My dad was over there, Alice. Come on.
Huh?
My dad was over there.
No, he wasn't. Your dad was Leo Kinsley.
No.
Leroy, your dad was not over there.
We ended up forging Edna's name, Alice. Me and you were over.
That was for Leo. That was for Leo.
That's
and
right.
Edna.
Okay, go ahead.
But for you and me,
See
Leo
it.
forged it.
I can tell you she's lying.
I'm not. I know better than that.
Okay, go ahead.
So anyhow, we got married in July, and in September he'd have turned 21. So he figured he didn't need his dad for signature.
Ah.
And old Doc Simons, he was an older doctor. He, I guess, didn't make much, grief about it.
So then, at that time, then you needed to be 21 to get married?
Mhm.
To get it.
To sign your own.
Marriage certificate?
Marriage
Okay.
certificate, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And anyhow, so that's the way we got together, and we dated, got married.
And
We're
now
still married.
Now you're 54 years, is that what you said? 54
In
years
July.
later?
55 in July, really.
Oh. Okay, what's
Yeah.
the next one we have here?
Okay, this is my family when I was younger,
Okay.
and probably the first family picture we ever took. And after this picture, we moved to California.
This is you, right?
That's
You
me.
don't look too happy.
I know I look grumpy, don't I? I mean, at times look grumpy. I still have those baggy eyes.
It looks like you just woke up from a nap and want to go back to bed.
I agree with you there. And the hairdo, what a hairdo.
I actually think it's kind of cute, but
And this is a picture that was taken later on. My mom,
Okay.
Dad, my mother, my brother Norman, me, my sister Leona.
But how old were you in this picture?
I'd say probably about 5, 6.
Okay, and then in this one?
And this one here, I was already, I must have been a freshman then.
And he's only 2 years younger than you, right?
Uh-huh.
He looks so young in this picture.
You should see him now.
Yeah.
Now
He's,
you want more family?
he's a lot bigger.
This here is LeRoy's family.
Okay.
LeRoy, you want to say it?
Right. Okay. This is my Grandpa Rembold. This is on my mother's side now, and Grandma Rembold. This is my mom. Uncle Irvin. Uncle Harry. And Aunt Leona. And Uncle Emmanuel. And Aunt Hulda. And Uncle Walter.
So were you close to your grandparents when you were a child?
Was I close to them?
Yeah.
I would say so. Yeah.
Did they live relatively? Where did
lived-
you grow up, anyways?
I grew up 2 miles west of here,
Okay.
but my mom's family was 2 miles north of Gackle. In fact, her nephew lives on the place now.
Oh.
Yeah, Jeff Clunt. That's Leona's son, the oldest son.
Okay.
Yeah.
We saw this one already, didn't we? Yeah. And a
But
smaller version.
these are all. They're all dead except this one.
So where's she at?
She's in a home in Jamestown.
In Jamestown.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So when you were growing up, did you go to your grandparents' house often?
Oh yes.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah, we did. We did go there a lot. Yeah.
Were they
So.
I don't know, very, very religious and like?
Yeah, they were Baptist, and I guess
Baptist?
that's yes. Yeah.
Did they speak English at all, or were they just solely German?
You know that I don't remember them speaking any English. Grandma and Grandpa, that is, but the rest,
Yeah.
of course, yeah. But so, I like I said, I just do not remember ever hearing them speak English.
That seems to be a common thing with when talking about grandparents is that they didn't speak a lot, if any, English.
Right, yes.
I even
Yeah.
had one, I think it was talking with Calvin Furco, his grandparents would refuse to talk to him in English.
Oh, really?
They could, but they didn't want to.
Oh, is that right?
They wanted him to learn German. And because in his house, his parents raised him to speak English in the home. And so when he went to Grandma and Grandpa's, he had to speak German.
Okay, see, that's what, like Alice's grandma, on her dad's side, you shouldn't talk English. That was just the way they felt. I don't know what's so bad about it, because you get out in the world, but I don't think they figure it that way. What are you going to do if you can't talk English? I can't talk English and I can't talk German. I'm just in between.
I can't talk English and I can't talk much else. So. Did you teach your children to speak German?
Ours?
Yeah.
We're still trying.
Still trying?
Yeah. There's one of them in Jamestown. Well, both of them in Jamestown. They can talk a little bit, but it doesn't come out right, a German. But the one every now and then she'll have a word that comes in edgewise, and it's not.
Probably sounds better than my German though, because my German.
Yeah.
Okay, so what do we have here?
What have you got
That's
there?
my-
Your grandma and grandpa.
Grandmother and my great-grandmother file.
Oh.
This is my grandmother Miller and my great-grandmother file, her mother.
Okay, this is the one that she came over from Russia when your mother was 1, right?
No, this is my dad's
Oh, this
side.
is your dad.
Miller.
Yeah, that's
yeah,
right. Okay.
that's my dad's
So,
side.
so do you know if they came from Russia? When was it your
No,
great grandmother?
I don't,
Okay. Okay.
No, I wished I see. I never got to know her.
Never did.
No,
Okay.
which I really regret. I mean, but she's my dad's mother.
Oh, okay. That's a great.
Now this is from my mother's side. These are her sisters and brothers. One sister is not on here because her husband didn't come out for the shooting, the photoing out in Jamestown, so she wouldn't go on either. And that was Aunt Emma Doctor, Mrs. Louis Doctor. So this here's my mom and my dad. My Uncle Gottlieb, my mom's brother. These are all my mom's brothers and sisters or siblings. And this is his wife, Pauline, and she was a Weiser.
They lived where?
They lived north of Streeter.
Okay.
And later on in Jamestown.
Okay.
And this is my Auntie Anna Hirsch in California and her husband, Rudy Hirsch.
She was the one that you were talking about having very fond memories.
Yes. And this is my Aunt Pauline Doctor and her husband, Johnny Doctor Jr. And this here is my Uncle Johnny Kessman and his wife, Teresa. And he was a real short guy, so they made him stand on a little box.
Oh, he's even shorter than that.
Yes.
Yeah, he was.
And this is my Uncle John Cumra, my mother's youngest brother, and his wife, Elida. She was a viol.
Okay.
And this here is my Uncle Jake Beer and his wife, Lydia. That's my mom's second oldest sister.
Okay.
And this is Uncle Fred Guthmiller and his wife, Caroline. She's my mom's oldest stepsister, or half-sister.
Okay.
And this is my grandmother, Camera, and my grandfather, Camera.
And you lived with them, right, in Streeter while you went to high school? Okay.
Yeah. And then there was my Aunt Emma Doctor. I thought I had a picture here of them, but I couldn't find any now. So anyhow, here's...
And this was taken... Do you have an approximate year?
What's on top here? No.
Can't see.
Were you guys around at this time? Or?
Yes.
Oh, yes.
Okay.
Oh, yes.
So sometime during your childhood.
In fact,
In fact, I think we were married.
I think we were.
Oh, okay. So.
I think
So it
so.
could have
It
been
just
in the
seems
50s.
to me.
Okay. Okay.
It seems to me that.
Stuck in your head too.
Right.
So.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Because her grandma died. About 2 years after we were married, right? Grandma Camera.
Okay.
Now this here is just my dad, his confirmation picture, and was Pastor Nagel was his
So do you?
minister.
This is your dad.
This is my dad,
Okay.
and these are two of his cousins. They're file boys.
Okay.
I don't know which is which here. And this here is a zinker from Gackle, and the rest of them I don't know.
So this is in Gackle? Is that what
This was taken in Streeter.
in Streeter?
Yeah.
And so I'm.
This was a little building behind the Lutheran church,
Okay.
before the Lutheran church that's there now.
Before the new Lutheran church.
Okay. And I'm assuming then they went through confirmation in German. With the German sign above it. So.
And it says, "Lasset die Kindlein zu mir kommen." That means let the little children come to me.
I got the children come to me. the first part I was having problems with. It's my 2 years of college German paying off here.
As long as we're in confirmation pictures here. This
What
is
have you got
Leroy's
on this
confirmation
side?
picture.
Oh, you have more? Yeah.
What's
Oh,
this,
yeah,
Alice?
yeah.
I don't know.
This was Reverend Pastor Grill. He was also a pastor of theirs. And this was Pastor Nagel and Pastor Grill. And this was taken in front of my grandparents' Camara's house.
Okay.
In Streeter.
Is the house
southeast of
still
Gackle.
there?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, it is.
Yep.
And this here is Leroy's job here.
This one's Leroy, huh?
Yeah.
And it's my confirmation
Now, do you know 'em?
picture.
Or should I tell them who they are?
Go ahead.
Okay, leave it there. This is Lorraine Wentz was her name. Leroy Buck, Ernie Butchot, Dielda Bitterman, Loetta Wentz, Helen Ketterling, Elda Ketterling, Jackie Beyer, and Dynamite Elvin Meyer, we called him Dynamite, and Orville Ketterling. This is a cousin of Leroy's. And this was Reverend Teeley.
Okay.
Right?
And
These,
what church was this at?
that EUB at that time was
Okay.
EUB
It
United.
was-
Now it's
yeah, it
United
was
Methodist.
And this is the one right up in town.
Right.
Okay.
Right. This one's dead. This one is.
That's all.
I don't know about Lorraine.
That's all.
Oh.
She was saying that her confirmation was in English. Was yours in English, or was it was in German? Did you also? She chose to read a German passage. Did you read in English or
English.
English? Are there any interesting stories you have about confirmation?
Like I said about confirmation.
Yeah. How was it? Was it?
Well, I liked it. I really did. Although I wasn't that good in any kind of school, hey. But I enjoyed it, and this minister here, which he was the minister through the complete confirmation, although he had a couple times that he had to go somewhere, and then he had a substitute, which was John George. Yep, John George, and he told us, he said, that's that minister's growing hair on his teeth. He said, why he said that I have no idea, but that's what he told us, you know. So I don't think he really cared too much for him. Although why did he get him then?
How long were your confirmation classes? Like,
You mean how many days?
Yeah.
I think it was a week.
Mine was 2 weeks.
2 weeks? No, I don't think ours was that long. That would have been too long. I don't.
Did you have to get up?
In those days, you had to learn everything, the catechism, everything by heart.
Did you have to get up and answer questions in front of the congregation?
Oh yes.
How was that for you?
Well, we had it memorized.
Did you know ahead of time what questions you were going to answer?
We didn't.
See, that's where a lot of them don't.
Yeah.
But we did. We had to memorize. He told us which questions he was going to ask us, you know, and so.
How old were you when you went through confirmation?
I'm not sure, but I think I was 13 or 14. Yeah,
you look very proud here.
13 or 14, yeah.
Did you have a big celebration afterwards to celebrate your confirmation? Or?
Well, all they had was a confirmation program, you know, but other than that, there was nothing, no.
Okay.
This guy here was, this Dynamite Meyer, he lives in Bismarck now. Anyway, the night before confirmation, he got a black eye. And I still tell him that it's not so. He told me he was chopping wood and a piece of wood hit him in the eye. But I still think he was in a fight with somebody, is what I think. I'm not sure, but he was a...
How did he get the name Dynamite?
You know, I don't know.
We called him that all through high school.
I don't know. Was he a dynamite or was he a dynamite? I didn't think that he really was.
No, he was a sparky guy.
But, well, maybe that's... But his name is Elvin.
So what was LeRoy's nickname?
My nickname?
Yeah, what was your nickname?
Sonny.
Sonny.
And then
my leg there, or is that really his nickname?
And my brother called me Rojas.
Okay. Now the question for both of those is why?
I have no idea. Oh, there was a guy at Napoleon. His name was, I'm sure his name was LeRoy, and they called him Rojas. Okay. And so he got the bright idea of calling me Rojas. So, but other than that, I always had good names. They didn't call me no bad names. So, okay.
And you said you didn't have stuff to talk about. Look at that. Oh, cool. It's on the back. We'll have to
Yes, it is.
Scan that, too, so we have that all there. That's great.
Elvin Dynamite, see? July 4th, 1943. Okay.
So you were born
I was born in 30.
30?
So I was 13.
Yeah, good
I was
guess.
close, boy.
Yeah.
Look
You
at
said
that.
about 13. Good guess. Good memories, not guess. It was no guessing. You knew. And
Yeah.
then, is this yours?
This is mine. This is Pastor Nickel, Arthur Nickel, and this is me, still looking grumpy. This is Freddie Gums, Cleo Block. Marvin Schumacher, he's a minister now, and he's a second cousin of mine. Werner Feil, and this is Judy. She was Judy Reese. Now she's Mrs. Boyd Williams. Reuben Ackerman.
No.
Yeah.
Elmer.
No.
Oh yeah, that's Reuben. Yeah.
Elmer's
Okay.
down here. Dolores Schumacher. Luella Wieland. Bernice Adam. What is his? Harry
Fisher.
Fisher. And Elvin. No.
No.
Gosh, I forgot his name. I gotta look.
What is his first name? I don't remember.
Irvin Schumacher.
There you go.
Esther Schaefer. And this is
Hubert.
Hubert Ackerman.
Some of these people still live around the area, don't they?
Yes, they do.
Because I'm going to say some of these names sound very familiar, like I've called them or talked to them.
They do, but very
lives in
few.
Streeter. She's married to Boyd Williams. That's all.
He just
Oh,
lost
he
his.
does.
He
Yeah,
just lost his wife.
They live in Fargo. She's
Mhm.
married to Deitcher. And the rest aren't around here, Leroy.
Yeah,
They're
this
all
one
gone.
passed away.
They
What
all
was
live
her name?
someplace else. Judy Reese, and now she's Williams.
Boyd Williams. They live in town in
And I
Streeter.
have a story to tell you about Reverend Nickel.
Okay.
We had a little sort of like this, well, that little building that was on where my dad's confirmation was
This
taken.
one here.
That little building was in the back of the Lutheran church, and that's where he had the confirmation classes.
Okay.
And every now and then he'd have to go to the house to get something. And once he was gone, and then all the kids says, Alice, go up to the organ and play us a tune. So I was dumb enough to go up and I played the Beer Barrel Polka. And that's the way Reverend Arthur Nichols comes to the door, and he just stands in the door, and he just stands there. Finally my eye caught it. Everything got quiet. He sort of had a smirk on his face, and he says, well, as long as you can play, I think you should play something a little more worthwhile. I never went to that organ again.
So was he a very approachable pastor?
He was a good pastor, very nice pastor, yes.
How
I don't know where he's at now.
you said your confirmation lasted about 2 weeks?
Yes.
Did you also have to get up in front of the congregation?
Yes, and we did not get anything. We weren't even told what we were going to be asked, so we had to know it all.
That's what she's telling us now.
She just wants to show you up.
Yeah, yeah, I think so.
So afterwards, did you have a confirmation party or something
We had a dinner at my grandmother's place
with your
for the family.
Miller or
Comer.
Comer? Okay.
Because this was taken in Streeter.
Okay.
I mean, confirmation class was done in Streeter.
Okay.
Yeah.
But these robes, were they provided by the church?
The church had to rent them.
Had to rent them?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Did you have?
Yes, we did. Yes, we did.
Yeah, I guess you did. You had short
Not.
ones.
We had short ones. I see.
And then you guys all had a corsage or a boutonniere on?
I think they must have. The church must have rented them too, because I don't remember.
You wore your Sunday bests? Your nice
Oh, you
slacks and-
bet. Mhm. Yeah.
And this is the last family picture my family took. And that was just before my dad passed away. He had cancer.
What type of cancer?
Stomach, in his stomach and esophagus. Started out in his throat. They got that cleared, and then it went to his intestines and went on to his liver. And Mom
he
had to
in-
feed him with a tube into his stomach.
Oh, was he in much pain during the last?
He wouldn't let on. Towards the last 2 days he was. He would lean over, he'd get up and he'd lean over and he'd groan. But other than that, he was just, didn't complain.
And where are your sister and your brother now?
My sister lives in Gackle, my brother lives in Gackle.
Okay, so you're all relatively close then.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, we get together quite often.
Would
And I
you-
still haven't got a smile on my face.
How would your sister feel about being interviewed?
I don't know. She'd probably enjoy that.
I should get her information. I'll give her a call, see if she wants to.
Okay.
Because, when you're doing childhood memories, talking to two sisters about what it was like as children could have some interesting stories there.
She'd
You
probably have something to tell you I didn't
Find
tell you
out,
about.
see if hers were just stories or.
remember, Leroy, when we celebrated our 25th wedding anniversary,
Mm-hmm.
my sister did a reading at it, and she come to the part where she says, and you know, she says, they forgot to cut the wedding cake and pass it out, and we had wedding cake for months after that. Mom had it in her freezer. I says, what, Leona? I says, we didn't cut our wedding cake? I says, you're kidding. No, she says, don't you remember? She said, we ate cake for months after that. See, in those days, the couple had to stand up there and open every gift you got after the meal and tell the people who you got it from. And then we were supposed to pass out the cake afterwards. Well, it was 11:30 by the time we got done there. We were so tired we could hardly stand on our feet anymore. Nobody mentioned anything about a wedding cake because we were supposed to cut that ourselves yet and pass it out to the people. And I didn't remember that. 25 years later, she brings it up, and I still didn't know. I still didn't remember. So see,
there's a lot of things that's interesting though, because when Will and I got married, my grandmother was very, I don't want to say upset, but it was disconcerting to her that we didn't want to open our wedding gifts in front of everybody. And I couldn't imagine. We had over 300 people that we invited. I couldn't imagine sitting down and opening those gifts.
That was the reason, though, because that's what they did.
Yeah.
You know,
and
and I
my
suppose
poor mom, this was in July when we got married. And Dad had to be out in the field. And he ended up killing a hog for her, skinning it, and she had to cut it up all by herself and make it into sausage, because we served sausage. And she fainted. She was so, how would you say, overworked that she fainted. I'll never forget that. I says, oh, never again. I says, when we have gotten married in July. I'm in a hot month like that. In the wintertime, usually, you know, the husband is there to help with the stuff.
You know why we got married in July? She couldn't wait.
Oh, yeah. Anyhow, here's my...
You like how she dismissed that one.
We'll just forget about that.
Okay, so who are these youngins?
This is the school I attended in California, in Victor, California.
Okay.
The school was Alpine School, and these were all kids that we went to. Can you pick me and Leona out?
I bet you I can.
These two?
Yep. Yep, that's me and Leona. And these other kids, well, I remember a few of them. These little Japanese girls here. Here's the Masuko girls. And little, let me see, there was 3 of them. Where's the other one? There's Susan, Lori, and Bessie. I can't see the other one now. Anyhow, when World War II broke out, or when Hiroshima was these poor people were all put into a concentration camp. These
They were in the Japanese internment camps.
Yes. Yes, I said, oh, that made us feel so bad. And this was our teacher, Alice Watson was her name. And I have a story here too. This was a little girl. Marie was her name, and she come from a very poor family. And she and I were out on the jungle gym, or the bars.
Like monkey bars
yes,
thingy,
monkey bars. And she was going across it, and I was just ready to go up and go across it, and I noticed she didn't have any panties on. So I teased her. And somebody went and told the teacher, and the teacher came out and took me, and she washed my mouth out with soap. That was a hard lesson learned.
Soap
Never
doesn't
again.
taste good.
And that poor little girl, I mean, they were so poor that she couldn't afford panties, I guess, or something, because, oh, that's sad.
You want to know what gave it away when you asked?
What?
The hairstyles were the
Oh,
same.
the hairstyles.
From the other picture.
And the collars on the dresses.
Oh, yeah, yeah. But when you had mentioned, you said something about, that hairstyle. That's what gave it away, is the hair.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And after that, I became best friends with her.
So, how close was this school to where your parents lived in California?
Okay, we went to it. We had moved 3 different times when we attended that school.
You'd only been in California for a year, right?
It was a little more than a year. Anyhow, we were out there 2 years with my mom and dad. Leroy and I just lived out there.
Me and her
once.
lived out there for a year.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anyhow, first it was right straight across the road was one of our houses, and the other one was let me see, south of there. I would say it was probably a mile and a half. And then at one time too, we lived about a quarter of a mile north, east of this school, in the middle of a vineyard, in a little, they called them a little Japanese shack. That's where they had the Japanese live. It was just a roughed up the outside structure was just roughed up. There was no inside finished off or anything. And the floors were wooden. Everything was wooden. Nothing was painted. And that's where my folks and us lived. We had our...
So, when you lived right across the street, you probably just walked across the street to go to school.
Yes.
But when you lived further away, did you walk to school
We
that?
walked.
So even in California, you would walk. Yeah. So I was just wondering if it was different because in North Dakota you're pretty safe when you're walking to school.
sometimes-
Well,
in
at
the-
that
But
time
at
it
that
probably was there too,
Mhm.
but now I'm sure it wouldn't be.
Hmm.
Yeah.
So if you had to say, who was your best friend in this picture when you?
It was Susie and her then later
Yeah.
on. They were really this Ruby here. She was a real good friend too. And so was this little Jeannie here. She was sort of a neighbor to us. And
What types of things would you guys do to play together?
well, I'll tell you what. The only time we got together with these kids was if Leona and I would take off after school. See, Norman didn't go to school yet. We'd take off after school and we'd go to one of these kids' houses.
Oh, okay.
And we'd stay there, and Mom didn't know where we
Because
were
your
at.
mom and dad were at work, or
One night it was sort of late when we were walking home, and all of a sudden here comes a car, and it stopped, and then we got real scared. And here was my uncle Louis Doctor. They lived out there at the same time, and we lived in the same house. They lived upstairs and we lived downstairs. And he was going home from work, and he says, so you know how late it was, and he says to us, boy, he says, I should just let you out here, he says, you better get in here in a hurry. He says, we got to get home. He says, he was always in such a hurry. So he took us home. Boy, oh man, I says, we must have walked about 5 miles that night.
oh, so when your parents went out there, did your uncle go out there at the same time then, or
Yes.
did you? Okay,
Mhm.
okay.
Yep, they were all looking for a better life, but they all came back to North Dakota. Isn't that strange?
See, in hindsight, North Dakota has a lot to offer.
Yeah.
People want to try something new, but really, it does have a lot to offer.
They didn't all come back, Alice. Like, you still have 3 aunts out there.
Well, they went
You
out
know, but-
after we came back.
Oh, they went
Oh,
out
yes.
after?
Oh,
Oh,
yes.
okay. Okay.
Do you have any stories about your teacher besides that one? Was she a good teacher?
Yes, she was. She was a nice teacher.
So,
Um,
your sister's a grade older, right? She would be in first grade
Yeah.
while you were in kindergarten. So is this the entire school, or is this just the
That's-
kindergarten and first grade class?
that's
or?
the kindergarten and the first grade class together.
Okay,
Yeah.
and was she the teacher for both of them?
Yep.
Okay. Okay.
They had other...
Oh, cool.
There.
Names on back. That works cool too.
Oh, maybe I do have them all written on there. Yeah, I would sure have liked to gotten a hold of the Masuko girls. They were so sweet too. They were Japanese, and when they were putting into...
Were you there when that? When was this picture?
We
did you
left
say?
for North Dakota just the year before that happened.
The year before that happened.
Yeah.
So then
Must
you heard
have been.
about it. How did you hear about their?
Well, I guess it wasn't all the newspapers and everything, you know.
You just saw
I mean,
there.
So,
What was this was in the 40s, right? 40,
Yeah.
40 what?
well, 38, 40, I think. Get
Huh?
here once.
Well,
There's nothing on there.
If you were in kindergarten, you would have been like 5 or 6. So.
I was born 32. Yeah, it could have been 38,
Yeah.
something like that.
Hmm.
Yeah, a person should always. And this is our wedding picture, if you want to see that.
Yeah. So do we have?
This is Leroy's sister, Cincinnati. We call
Okay.
her Nettie. She doesn't like Cincinnati.
So how did she get the name Cincinnati?
Well, Leroy's grandmother
They,
named her.
yeah, but they have I have a cousin. Her name is Seattle.
Really?
And
Now, they
they
said it
both
was
named
Grandma
her
Rembold, yeah.
Grandma.
Now, I don't know why, and
Seattle and
she's
Cincinnati,
Cincinnati,
huh?
yeah. Hmm. Yep.
Okay.
And this is my cousin Magdalena Miller Pressler now. This
Okay.
is Leroy Pressler. And
LeRoy Pressler. I'm interviewing him.
you're kidding me.
Did
No.
you?
Oh my gosh.
You did already?
No, I'm going to be.
Oh,
I
okay.
think I'm interviewing him on Thursday, I believe.
Oh, for goodness sakes.
Okay, that's his wife.
Yeah, that's his wife, Maggie.
Yep.
And see, they should have called her Motley. Her name was Maggie, but they called me Motley.
They're cousins, Alice and her.
Okay.
And this is Oscar Reed. That's her husband.
Okay.
And this is my brother Norman. And this is Leroy's nephew, Darwin Fundrick. And
Darwin. How do you get Darwin?
I don't know who gave him the name, but anyway, his mother always called him Darwin, and I did too.
Okay.
And then one time he says to his mother, he says, "Now why do you call me Darwin when you spelled my name Darwin?"
English versus German.
And I did not, she said. Well, I don't know how he proved it to her, but he said I proved it to her. That he did
So
spell
he's
it.
Darwin.
Yeah.
And then.
This is my cousin Arliss Cumra. That's Gottlieb Cumra's daughter.
Okay.
The only daughter they had.
He is a cutie.
Isn't
and that.
he?
Oh.
He was
passed
handsome.
away.
He was real heavy.
He was 52, right? Had a heart attack.
Well,
His
he
wife-
had open heart surgery back 12 years before.
Oh my.
And he was in Minneapolis, right? That's where he was in the hospital, yeah. And they put a stent in. He had problems again, a blockage. So they put a stent in. And a year later, on Sunday night, he called here. And he said, I said, "Where are you at?" He said, "In the hospital." And then, you want me to hurry?
Yeah.
She's waving to me. Anyway, I said, "What for?" And he says, he said, "All I know is the doctor said, I don't know why we didn't catch it the first time." And he didn't make it out of surgery alive. Yeah, so, yeah.
He called our place home towards last. Whenever he'd come through the country, he would stop here and stay a couple of days, and then he'd go again.
So this wedding dress, did you make it?
And my folks bought that for me.
It's
Yeah.
gorgeous.
Yeah, I still have it.
Yeah.
And that's, of course, mine and Leroy's wedding picture. These are all proofs.
So does it looks like there's embroidery down here?
That's probably wrinkles. And we had to take it. No, it's lace.
Lace? Okay,
yeah.
lace. And then is this a Bible that
That's
you have?
my Bible.
Your Bible?
I still have that too, but it doesn't look white anymore.
Can I wash your hands when you use it?
That's the only one I smiled on. No, I guess I did smile on the one in there.
Oh, yeah, she is awake. See?
Yeah.
And then this is my high school picture.
Oh.
That's all I've got in here. Of course.
Alice, you kept telling me.
Dare to do this one. These are our 5 daughters.
Pam, Lolly, Robin,
Tanya, and Shirley.
and Shirley.
Do you mind if I take this one out
No,
so that
No,
he can?
no.
I'm gonna put it so he
Go
can
right
scan
ahead.
it. That way he has them in
Go right
he
ahead.
got them in order.
There's some.
Oh, and these are our son-in-laws, but one's hid.
One's hid.
One's hid. This is the baby, Tanya and Todd. Pammy and Bobby. Barry and Lolly. And Robin and Vaughn. Shirley and her husband.
Oh, he
Mickey.
likes to hide his face.
He likes to hide his face out
Yeah.
of the picture.
Yeah, he does. Yeah, he does.
Okay, what should we do now? Should I take some more out of here? I don't know if you want any more of these.
Well, let's put in the sausage
Sausage
maker.
maker.
Yeah. Since you already told me
Bring it
about it,
out.
we gotta have that one.
Take it out of there.
Oh, those 2 girls, they had a ball that day.
Yeah.
They thought this was just great. Making sausage. That's Madison. I told them they all have to wear caps. They have to wear them backwards. They started out without.
I got a story on that sausage, though. Hey,
What?
we made the sausage. Turned out good. We fried some samples, and tried it. Turned out good. And I had an old outhouse that I used to smoke it in. I fixed it up for a smokehouse. You know.
Mhm.
And it was pretty airy. And it was windy that day. We went out there, hung some up in the smokehouse, started the fire, and we couldn't get no heat in there. We worked and we worked. We hung tarps over it to try and get some heat in, you know. Couldn't. Our sausage was black. It was smoked, not. It was smoked up. It was not really smoked, heated
Yeah.
through and through. Yeah. So, but it still turned out okay. It we wiped the smoke off of there, the soot, I should say,
There, yeah.
and it still turned out real good.
Here I found Odie.
Ooh. What is this?
Leroy, tell him who it is.
Okay, that's my grandma and grandpa, Rembold, and my mom.
Oh. Your mom looks like a darling.
That's my mom, yeah.
So was your mom born in the U.S. or born in Russia?
Oh yes, no.
Born in the U.S. Where
Yep,
was she born?
yep. Gackle.
Gackle.
Yep. Yeah, she was quite a bit. See, that was my dad's third marriage.
Oh, okay.
His first wife, they weren't even married a year when she passed away. She had died of epilepsy.
Oh.
And
Did they have any kids?
no, not the
No?
first marriage.
Okay.
And then the second marriage, I don't even know how long they were married. But anyway, my brother was the last one born in that family,
Okay.
and then she passed away.
What'd she die of?
So, do you remember, Alice? Did Edna ever say anything? What did her mother die from?
It was childbirth.
It was
Something
childbirth?
That went wrong at childbirth, yeah.
Oh, okay.
And she just, her
Did the,
lingering illness her illness lingered on until she passed away.
did the child survive?
Yes, he was 2 years old when she died. So, I know people said that she was so weak when she'd come to church that they would offer to hold the baby. You know, Elman, his brother.
So how many children were from your dad's second marriage?
8.
8 children, and then
Just a minute.
Yeah.
8? No, 7.
7, yeah.
Yeah, 7.
7, and then
There's
there's
10 in all.
from the third marriage. There's 3 more.
No.
No.
I said that wrong. The second marriage there was 3.
Okay.
The third marriage there was 7.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, the first marriage none.
The first marriage.
Yeah.
He was
Right.
married and his first wife passed away.
Mhm.
And I think within a half a year.
Oh, so it was very
That
short.
wasn't even. Yeah,
Okay.
She had
right.
epilepsy, was it?
Yeah.
Died from.
Yep. So
So when did your dad come? Did your I'm not. When did not? Yeah. Blah blah blah. Your grandparents, did they come from Russia then to the U.S. or?
I'm sure that.
you know, I'm not even sure. I think
sure.
Grandpa did, but I don't think Grandma did. I'm not
He was
sure.
What, Eberhard? Or what was her name?
No, Teskey.
Tessie.
Yeah. I'm not sure on that, but I think Grandpa did, but not Grandma.
Okay.
You know, so
Okay.
see, my mom, I think I mentioned that she didn't come from Russia.
Yeah, she was born in Gackle.
Gackle,
Yeah.
right? Yeah.
So when your grandpa, did he have a homestead then out in the Gackle area? Or?
Yes, they did.
Okay.
Yes, they did.
Okay.
Yep. And well, Grandma passed away in 1947.
So
Yeah.
is their house still out there or
No.
no?
Yes, it is the old house. Isn't it there anymore?
Who?
Out on Grandma and Grandpa's place.
No.
Did he tear
Yeah,
it down
he
now?
tore it down.
Okay, see, her nephew bought the place.
Okay.
They had built a new house before he bought it, and the old house was still there. But now she says, I'm not sure, but she says it's tore down now, so, yeah. But, yes.
Since I only have 2 siblings, this is my sister-in-law Idris and my brother Norman
Okay. And where's this picture taken at?
in the backyard of my sister's
Where's your
place.
sister's place? So out in Gackle?
Yep.
Okay.
And this
Yep.
here is my sister Leona and her husband Reuben.
Okay.
And that was taken in one of our cousins' gatherings.
Okay.
And I've got pictures of all my cousins. but I think we'll put
He,
them somewhere.
He makes these Dutch windmills.
Oh, Ruben does?
Yeah. We've got one out here.
I thought that after I asked where it was at, I was like, well, maybe that's out here actually.
Yeah, yeah.
So.
Yeah, he makes them. So Alice bought one.
Mm.
They had quite a write-up about him, about this Dutch windmills in some paper. I don't remember, in some magazine. I don't remember which one it was, but anyway, about him. About it going, people buying it. Where was it again, Alice? Do you remember? The people that bought one?
I don't know.
Uh,
I don't.
I think it was in some other state, if I'm right.
Well, I paid $60 for mine.
Well, whatever, you know, but
Well, they're gorgeous. So.
yeah.
This is LeRoy and Maggie Presley, the ones who put an interview.
Oh.
And that's her parents. Her parents. That's me.
Hey, do you mind if we put them on too?
No, go ahead. She might. Oh, it's out here already. That's mine.
It's okay if we get double if they show it and then.
That's her parents, yeah.
Yeah,
She's
this here is,
she's 90. She's going to be 98 in June now.
Really.
97.
98, Lorraine said, yeah.
This is their wedding picture.
Oh, it's on the back too. So.
There's no age on there, but
And this is what now?
That's their wedding picture.
This is a wedding
Emma
picture?
and Pete's. And you know, the style was always that the bride would stand behind the man would sit on the chair, and the bride would stand behind the man.
You know, I've looked at
Isn't that
pictures and I never even made that connection.
Oh.
So that's interesting.
And
Yeah.
that was taken in front of my grandparents' Miller's house out on
Okay.
the farm.
Okay. And then
And
this
here's
is the
LeRoy and Maggie.
It's just a small world when I go through my interview list. It's like already I have 6 interviews this week, and 2 out of the 6 are relatives.
yeah. I said so many times already, you have to be careful as to what you say on the people for fear that they know or are relatives.
Yep.
This is my sister Leona's wedding.
Oh, okay.
And her husband, Reuben. And her attendants were Harold Clunt, that's her husband's brother,
Okay.
and my brother Norman, and a friend of hers, high school friend, Amy Boofink, and Elsie Clunt, that's his wife. And this was one of Reuben and Harold's nieces, Ardella.
So something that
Blair.
was it not common for like you to be in her wedding or her to be in your wedding or
At the, this is
your sister?
sorry to say.
Got a story on
I
that
was
too.
going with a guy at the time that Reuben didn't like, so he didn't want me to be in the wedding.
Oh.
It wasn't me though.
It wasn't. Yeah, he does. And then what about with your wedding? 'Cause
My wedding, I had my brother Norman, and she was having problems at the time.
oh, okay.
I know Mom had to take care of Jeffrey because she had something. She in the hospital for something, or what it was. I don't remember.
I don't remember either.
Like who's the little one?
That's little Reuben Cumra. That's my cousin. That would be John Cumra Jr.'s son.
Okay.
And,
Well, this is the first picture I've seen of Norman where he's not smiling.
oh.
Normally he has a grin.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
of course,
he
this
isn't.
is
Is he?
Leona and
No,
Reuben's.
he's got kind of like a stern face on.
Yeah.
And this is who now?
That's Leona and Reuben. Their
Okay.
individual wedding picture.
And so with her wedding dress, did she also buy her wedding dress?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Was that common then for girls to do, is to buy their wedding dresses?
Yeah.
I know when I got married, I about crushed my mom because I didn't want her to make my wedding dress.
Oh.
Uh,
The only ones that had a made wedding dress was her daughter, and her daughter made it herself.
See, my mom made her wedding dress herself, so I crushed her.
See, so I just never was a seamstress.
Me neither. I can't sew for the life of me.
And this here is my brother Norman and Ephraim.
Okay. And so how old were your sister and when she got married and your brother when he got married?
Oh, they got, gosh, I don't know if they ever got married.
She was younger than you were when she got married.
She was? Yeah, she could have been.
Yeah,
Then.
yeah.
She had to have been 18,
You think so?
maybe 18 and a half.
Well, whatever.
Well, I just turned 19.
And then Norman when he got married?
Norman,
He was no 21 yet, that I'm
No.
sure of, but I couldn't
Well,
even
it
tell
seems
you
my
what.
dad had to sign for him.
A
Is
fairly
there-
young
is
I
there
marriage.
would
a
say
year?
probably
No.
20,
Okay.
and she was
Yes.
right out of high school, so.
Yeah, yeah.
And this, of course, is their big picture, and Leroy and I were attendants for that.
Okay.
And this here was my sister's little boy, so he was what, about 2.5 years old, something like that.
And then
And
here
these
we have-
other people were all cousins of Idris's.
Okay.
This lady, Norma, was her cousin. Norma Jane Miller was her name, and Audie Jovic. They were husband and wife.
Okay.
And what was his name again?
Lang. No.
He was married to
You're right.
Rella Lang.
I don't know. I can't. Is it on the back? Maybe.
No.
Nope.
Anyhow, this is a cousin of Idris's too, and her husband.
Okay.
And then this here is Jeffrey, and this here is Sandy Geisler was her name. And this one, I don't know.
I like
I
those
think
little
she was a
bonnets.
Ravinius.
This one here. That's the guy that's on that farm where my grandma and grandpa's. I told you.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
So this wedding, did this also take place in,
Gackle in the Baptist Church.
okay, and then your sister's wedding?
In Gackle in the United Church of, in the United Church of Christ, yeah.
And then
Yeah.
your guys' took place in the Streeter.
The Lutheran Church in Streeter.
And is that church, the church that's standing there still this church that you got married
Yep.
in?
That's still the church.
Because
Yes.
we're going to go up and take a picture of that, so.
See that. I don't remember. I think there's it's imprinted. I think someplace the year it was built. This one
Yeah.
here now.
The one in Streeter?
Yeah.
Yep, it says like 1901, I think, is what it said, or 19. It's on there. There's a sign. I saw it when we drove past.
That long ago.
Yeah, it was like 1900 something.
Anyway, I can still remember when that church was built.
Okay.
Oh, you bet.
Okay.
Yep. So it mustn't be
Must have been later than.
later
and
than
then-
that, right? Yeah.
And this was Edie and Norman. After the wedding, they were going to go on their honeymoon, and they got to use my dad's Fraser Manhattan car.
Where were they going for their honeymoon?
I don't know where they went, Black Hills?
I don't
think it was.
remember.
Where did you guys go for your
No,
honeymoon?
we still haven't gone for our
To my mom and dad's house.
What about your sister? Did she go on a honeymoon?
No, I don't think they went either.
She didn't.
I'm not
I don't
sure,
know.
I
I
don't
don't.
know. I'm sure not.
I don't know.
And this here is a picture that we took. My mom was still alive at that time. And that was her second marriage, our daughter Lolly's second marriage to her husband now.
Okay.
And these are all family.
So it's your daughter?
Our daughter,
Okay.
Lolly, Lolita.
And
yeah.
these kids are.
This is the one that had open heart surgery 3 times.
Oh, okay.
This is our little Nathan. He's
Shannon.
no, this is Nathan. Shannon's over here.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Ryan's here. Karina, she was a flower girl for her mom's wedding. And this here is Chastity, our little Navy girl. Cody, her husband Brian is also a military. And of course this is Shannon and his wife and first son. They've got 2 more children now. This is our oldest daughter's husband Bob, and that's her. This is Ryan. He wasn't married at the time yet. And Christopher Nino, that's his and her
That's the
son.
guy. That's the guy who likes to hide his face.
And of course
He's in
Leroy.
the center now.
What?
Still almost hiding though.
Yeah.
Tanya wasn't married at that time. Robin and her husband Vaughn, and their son and daughter Carlotta and Travis. And my mom.
So what year was this?
When what?
What year was this?
1989.
80. Yeah, could have been.
I think 1989 if I'm right.
89 or 90.
Okay.
No, it wasn't 90 because 91st.
91 they came back from
Yeah.
And
Maryland.
he said,
Yeah.
what happened to her first husband?
They were divorced.
They were divorced.
because he went into doing drugs and
And
wasn't doing very good things.
is this her?
He was
daughter?
stepping out on her.
This is his
This is
daughter,
his
but
daughter.
this is their
her first marriage,
She
the
lived
daughter
with
to the.
him for the longest time. Afraid to get married again. She said she was worried that the same thing would happen again as did the first one.
Mhm.
And finally I just sat down and I wrote her a letter and I told her, Lolly, if you love the man enough to live with him, you love him enough to marry him. I says, I might not be your mother after saying this, but I says, do the right thing because your daughter is old enough to understand what's going on. And she wrote back a letter and I thought for sure that I was never going to be her mother again. And she said, Mom, she says, I know you're right. She said, and then she told me that she felt that she was so afraid of getting married again because she was afraid the same thing would happen as
She
did
didn't
with
want to
her
go through
first
the
one.
pain of what had.
And he's just the most wonderful husband and father
Oh,
to that
good.
Karina. He just
So do they have
loves
kids
her.
together now, or
one
Yes.
boy,
one boy?
one boy and this
And
little
this
one.
girl
And that
too.
little one.
Yeah.
Cassandra.
Good.
She's, what is she now?
She's a ninth
14?
grader. She's a ninth grader.
Ninth?
now.
Ninth grader.
Yeah.
And Taylor is a fourth grader.
Okay, what do we have here?
Okay, that's my mom and my dad.
Okay.
My mom and dad. You know, it's
His
his
second wife.
third
do you
wife.
know how they
third
met?
wife. I think them days. I don't think that they were.
I can tell the story.
How? Go ahead.
I can tell the
Go ahead.
story.
Go ahead.
His grandpa Rembold took John Buck around to different farmers that had daughters, and they came to my grandma and grandpa Cumra's place, and he wanted one of their daughters. Well, their daughters, the ones that were of age, were committed. They had boyfriends, so that was a no-no. And it ended up that Grandpa Rembold had to give his own daughter to marry him.
That's what happened.
Really?
I didn't know that, Elvis. I wasn't there yet then.
Oh, yeah, you weren't there yet.
So kind of
I
like
was
that,
told that.
the matchmakers that they would.
There you
on,
go.
the
I was
matchmaking.
I was thinking,
mom
trying to
told me
think
that.
of the
Yeah,
name, but I couldn't.
I've
the
read
word,
some,
but I.
some stuff on the tradition of having a matchmaker take you to different farms to
That's-
find
Yes.
your mate.
That's what they did. And this is what must have happened here.
Huh. So would
Yeah.
you say that they had a good marriage? Were they happy?
Oh, I
content?
think so. I think so. They were, as far as I know, you know. Oh, they had like we too.
Squabbles and stuff, but
Yeah.
overall.
But yeah, I think they did. They had, I forget how many years were they married, Ellis, when Dad died. Dad died first. Do you remember? He died in '59. He
I
died.
don't know what year they got married.
Virginia was born in 28, 28. Virginia was born in 28, and she was the first one, the first child after they got married.
In 27.
So they could have got married in 27, either 26 or 27 when they got married, yeah. And he died in '59, so they were married, well, say 20,
20 some years.
yeah. No, it was more than that.
No, 30.
Because it was 20, say 27. 27, 37, 47, 57
so
would have been 30. So it was,
Yeah.
yeah.
This is my mom and dad, and that's
Okay.
a picture of her parents' house, my grandma and grandpa Cumra. And who this is, I don't know.
Is this their wedding picture?
Yep.
Okay.
And my mom told me, she says for recreation when they were teenagers, what they do, the guys and gals who could play instruments, guitars or violins or banjos, whatever, accordions, they would gather at a farm and go up in the hay mound and have a dance. And that was their entertainment. And the neighborhood would come together and have a dance, just the young kids. So they had their entertainment too, I guess.
How old were they when they got married?
I'm not even sure. I don't really know.
They look fairly,
They got married what year? That's a history thing.
That should all be put on the back when
Yeah,
you're.
I know. I've got it in my Bible, LeRoy,
You do?
when we got married.
Well, Will's gonna scan
Scan
that
that.
picture
Okay.
or those two
Okay.
pages that you have,
Okay.
so we can look that up then.
Okay. And this is Leroy and my 50th wedding anniversary picture. And I was taken in Streator, North Dakota. We had 350 some guests. I couldn't believe it. Oh.
And that's how he looks without a beard.
Yeah.
You look like a completely different person with a beard.
I think I
I
do.
can't wait for that to come off.
I get scared myself. I get scared myself when I look in the mirror.
So is this the first time you've had the beard? Or?
No,
This is
no,
the
we've got a
second time.
picture up there. What's your husband's name? First
Will?
name? Will. Will?
Well,
He took a picture of that, or tried to get a picture
the-
of my beard up there. And that was done in when Napoleon had their Jubilee, but what year was that?
okay.
80s?
No, that was when we come back from California.
Huh.
That was in the 50s.
In the 50s.
Whoa.
We come back in
80s,
50,
50s.
it could have been the 50s in 56 or 57. Because, or did we live on the farm here already? We lived on the farm here already.
Yeah, when me and Orville had.
Okay, then it was in 58.
Yeah.
This is quite a feat.
Yeah.
Years. That's
Yeah. Long time. Listen.
You see, I had nicer hair then. My hair now is, I had lost all my hair because of my chemo.
Chemo.
And didn't grow back the way it used to be, so.
Is it softer now though?
It is very, how would you say, lifeless.
Really?
Is what it feels like to me.
That's
And
our
that's
family. Go ahead,
Our
Alice.
family, our
The
girls.
5 girls.
Yeah. They were all married, but Tanya, the middle one. And you know, she's the baby and she's the tallest. I don't know what happened. Pam's the oldest, she's the shortest.
Huh. And there's the famous chain
Yep.
that we were talking
There
about.
it is. Did you see it real?
Mhm.
Did you?
I think Will took a picture of it. So.
Okay. Yeah, there isn't a glued spot
That's
on
just,
the.
it's amazing.
Yeah, it is. It is. That takes some.
Why were you mad that
that-
day, Leroy?
What?
Why were you mad that
Yeah,
day?
you went to the poutiness.
I
She's
don't know.
Smiling. She's smiling now, and you're pouting.
I don't know what happened.
Didn't want to be
What?
sitting there taking a picture.
Well, yeah, I guess not. Yeah, I guess I
And
didn't.
this
Yeah.
is one of our daughter's sister's outings in
That you were telling me, yeah.
December. I don't know what year that was. Does it say it on back? Probably no. Because
It's another one of them
so,
that.
yeah, the last
Outings to the Twin Cities is what you said?
at Fargo.
Oh, into Fargo, that's
Fargo,
right.
yeah. Yeah, that's where they go.
They have a
For the
ball. They go
weekend.
shopping and then they come back and then they demonstrate. They how would you say, have a
I'm not
they
there, so
show
I
off
don't know.
what they
Like a
bought.
modeling show?
Yes, they have a modeling show.
We used to do that when my mom would take us to clothes shopping. We would model all the clothes for my dad. I'm sure he sat there going, I don't really want to see this, but we would go try on every outfit.
Oh gosh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Come on, Alice. Let's go. Let's go.
Whoa,
Let's go.
here's another sausage making thing here.
Huh?
And that was the first time we made sausage. That was when-
First time you made sausage. It's good.
not the first time.
No.
The first time when after they were married, our daughter Shirley was married.
Oh, okay.
That's the guy that tries to hide his face. all the
Successfully
Mickey.
doing it right now.
Right here, his face is full blown. He's frying the hamburger to taste it,
You got,
to test it.
here's this one too. That was behind it.
time. Yeah.
I don't know if you want to see some of these. I used to do babysitting. I used to have 2 of my own grandchildren and 2 friends' children. And they all wanted to sit on Grandma's lap at one time. So, here Grandpa's holding one of them, a little Navy gal. She was sleeping. And we're just, I don't know what else would you like for me to show? Oh no, this is the old house. This is the new house.
This is our oldest grandson that when he graduated. Oldest
that
grandchild.
Oldest grandchild?
Graduated from high school, yep. That's a picture of him. That's Grandma, of course, Ellis,
Mm-hmm.
and his mom.
Okay.
our oldest daughter, and Alice's mom, Grandma Miller.
This is me and my 5 daughters and our foster daughter,
Oh,
Ruthie.
this is the one that came. Okay.
That's our Ruthie.
Oh yeah, there she is, yeah.
So is that in this house?
That's in this house, right here.
It's like, yeah, I was trying to see, how does this work here?
Right here it is, yeah.
And I used to cut hair and give permanence and whatnot. And here I'm giving a gel of permanent. Here's our foster daughter.
How long did she live with you for?
About not quite 3 years, 2.5. And that's
So
her.
then she came when she
getting
was
ready for the prom.
16?
16.
She was 16.
So she lived
and
until she was an adult and moved out on her own?
She
or?
was 18
Okay.
when she left.
Is she still in contact with you guys? Or?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, she's married and has, what, 3
She's
children of her
made a
own
wonderful
now?
life for herself. She's, for what she had to go through. I mean, she was an abused child,
Is that why she was in foster care?
sexually abused child by her stepfather.
I think her marriage
And her
helped her a
mother
lot to
didn't
straighten
believe
her
her.
life out.
She grew up and.
Right. Yeah.
Here she's having a fun time. She was doing a jig, a dance. We had some nice times with her, and there was times when it wasn't so easy because
She is.
sometimes felt like we treated Tanya better than her, and I had to prove it to her that we weren't. And then she was just all fine again.
Like I told you,
Because,
she was jealous, so jealous of Tanya.
Well, they told us that too when we had to go to classes for this. And they told us that she will always feel that if she did anything wrong, she'd have to leave. And Tanya, we couldn't push her out because she was our own daughter. And this caused sort of a rift between the two of them. It was sad, but
I think you see that
from
a
the
lot
beginning
with
they got along very good until she met her boyfriend. And he sort of told her she didn't have to live by the rules, and that didn't work.
bad influence.
Yeah.
So I'm taking it he's not the one she married.
No.
Okay.
No.
Where's she at now?
In
Glendon, Minnesota.
Glendon, Minnesota.
She
Oh.
owns a
Yeah.
beauty shop.
Oh.
She's doing
Yes.
very well for herself.
And
Three
he works
daughters.
for the railroad.
He's on
Does she
railroad.
come back for like any of the family holidays?
She doesn't come back for any holidays. She keeps in
Okay.
touch with us through Christmas pictures and stuff like that, and we mail her stuff too. I mean, that's so.
Okay.
And this was our foster person. He was
Foster
here at the
That
same
old
time.
man we had, yeah.
Okay.
We had him for, what was it, 4 or 5 years?
How did he
And-
come out to live with you guys?
Oh, that's sort of a long story too. He was with a family, I won't mention names, with a family that abused him,
Okay.
weren't very nice to him. So he ran away.
Okay.
And he called our daughter and son-in-law and asked if they were neighbors to these people. Asked if he'd call us and tell them to come and get him, because we had met him through these neighbors of Mickey and
Tell
Shirley's.
us to come and get him, yeah.
And Mickey says, well, they are out in the field. He says, they can't just take off now and come and get you. How about if I come in and get you? And he says, no, they're supposed to come and get me. Well, he says, I'll tell you what. He said he was afraid that he would make him go back to this neighbor.
Oh, okay.
And Mickey said, you can just stay at our place here. You can stay here until we're done with chores tonight, and then we'll take you up to LeRoy's. And he finally did agree to it. And when they brought him, he had no clean clothes. He had his dirty clothes on, and no other clothes were with him. And we gave him some clean clothes of LeRoy's, and he had lost a lot of weight. In fact, his pants, he had to wear a belt. His pant was double, the waistline was doubled up. And he was asked if he could stay here. Well, then my daughter and husband and we decided between the two of us we'd keep him 1 month at our place, 1 month at their place, and so on. And finally then, when they moved off the farm, we kept him full-time. And he's been sort of a vagabond all his life. He would work for a farmer, he'd earn a little money, he'd go to town, and he'd drink it up. And everybody just more or less used him as
puppy dog.
a puppy dog, you might say. They made him do things that they didn't want to do or whatever. And so he ended up with this one family, and after that he came up here, and you know that the first night when I served him a meal, he sat there and he ate and he ate and he ate. We were all done sitting back, and there was a little food left in some of the plates in the serving dishes, and he says, if nobody wants that, I'll eat it. He cleaned the plates out. He was so starved, that poor guy. I guess they'd make him go out into the field to work, and without any food, any water. In the evening he'd come home, and the family had eaten already, so he got what the family had left. And they made him sleep in a basement on just a mattress, which was ugly. So
Without
we
a
got
cement,
in
without
touch
a cement, no cement floor in the basement.
with social services, and we told them about it, and they said, well, I says, he's got no clothes here, and I don't want to be the one to go and get the clothes, because we knew these people.
Yeah.
I mean, we had picnics together. And they said, well, they'll send the sheriff out to get him. So that's what they did. And he brought the clothes here. He had 3 big duffel bags full, and they were all filthy, dirty. I had to wash them 3 times to get the filth out of them. And he finally gained weight where I had to, which probably wasn't a healthy thing either, but I had to put slits in the side of his overalls and put elastic in so he could fit them around his waist.
So
And he was a jolly guy. He played accordion, and he'd walk around the house, and he'd go, he'd keep time, and he'd hum, and he'd sing, and he'd just keep time. He was humming and singing.
So did he have any disabilities, or
No.
did he just
Well,
he just
he
wanted
probably never had schooling.
I don't
Never
think he
had
had any,
schooling.
I don't think he had any
He was illiterate. He
disabilities
couldn't
though.
read.
I don't think
to never
yeah.
had what?
Any disabilities you
Oh,
said?
okay.
No.
Yeah.
No, he wasn't. No,
He just
that he
didn't
was,
have any schooling and
No.
nowhere to
Right.
really go, and
He was
Right.
illiterate, and he couldn't read or
Okay.
write. I mean,
Okay.
it was. So anyhow, he could
Not
write
many-
his name. He could write his name, but he didn't know how to spell words. That's how I
okay.
should.
So
I
there's
don't
not
either.
many options open to him
No,
for things
Yeah,
to do.
yeah.
Okay.
you know, he was the lived the longest of that his whole
His
family
whole
though.
family.
Really?
He was the bum, and he lived the longest.
Yeah.
How long did he live with you?
He lived with us for almost 5 years, 4.5, I guess. And then I ended up with breast cancer, and social services decided that they would put him in the Gackle Care Center until I am well again. And when time come that they said he'd have to move because the lady was coming back that he had gotten the room to stay in, and she had been put in the hospital, I guess, for something. When she come back, he had to leave. Well, the lady never was able to come back, so the social services asked if we want to take him back again, or if we should see if he'd want to stay there. So when we told him, he was a little distraught. He says, no, he says, we'll look at a home north of Jamestown there. He says, where he was going to go to, I don't know. And I says, Roland, I said, if you're going to stay in a home, I says, why don't you stay here, then we can come and visit you. And he finally decided, well, yeah, he's gonna. And he liked it in there, and that's where he was until he died.
Yeah.
We'd go to visit him. The first thing he'd say when we'd come in there is, let's play pinochle. He loved to play pinochle. And while we had him here at the house, he never wanted to play pinochle. He says, in German, he says, this verdult game lerne ich einmal nicht. He meant, this darn game I'll never learn how to
Never
play.
play it.
He said that in German. And he liked to play whist, and he liked to play pas France. So that's what LeRoy and I entertained him with. And sometimes I'd sit at the piano and play, and he'd play the accordion. We'd entertain.
How often did you go and visit him when he was living there?
Oh, I think we saw him almost once a week. Sometimes probably we couldn't get there the week, and he was looking for us already.
Yeah, every
The
time
highlight.
every time we come in there, like she said, he wanted to play pinochle.
How did your kids relate with him? Did
They liked him.
Yeah,
They
oh
liked
yeah,
him.
oh yeah, he
One
was.
Christmas, I have a picture of it too. I don't know where it's at now. Where they're all sitting on the Davenport in there with son-in-laws,
Mhm.
and they're all holding up $1. They each got $1 from him for Christmas.
Oh.
They were having a ball about that. Yeah, he was a great guy. We did get paid $329 a month to keep Ruthie, but we had to give her $80 out of that for spending money.
Okay.
And
$80 a month for.
yeah, for
That's a
spending
lot
money.
for a kid back then, isn't
Well,
that?
we bought the clothes. I mean,
We
she
bought
didn't have to
some.
buy.
Well, it was still a lot of money for her to spend.
That's what I'm saying. So
Yeah.
we bought the clothes.
Yeah.
She didn't have to
So
buy
$80.
any. Yeah.
So, because I'm thinking back to my childhood, and I was born in the '80s. So and I started out at $20 a month for spending money, and then it moved to $40 when I was a teenager. And again, my parents bought my clothes and stuff. So
Well,
Yeah.
she was supposed to buy her clothes out of that $80,
Oh,
but there
okay.
was no way she could. There was no way she could. And we got $200 and some to keep him, and I had to give him $40 out of that. Now, what's the difference? They always said a teenager needs more money to spend. That was their
I'm thinking
ruling.
that's a little backwards.
I think so too. I think
But
so
you know,
too. But
actually, he didn't need what she needed. You know, she liked pretty clothes, and
And
she
he
needed clothes.
was more
And
than
he was satisfied with his overalls. And he'd have
Overalls,
worn
yeah.
them till the rags come off if I wouldn't have told him to go and get some, because he only got to get his bank account up so high, and he had to spend, or else they'd have cut his
money out.
money
Yeah.
out. Yes. So we'd have to always encourage him to go and buy some clothes. And he did smoke. He did smoke. Oh, this house was blue. LeRoy smoked at the time too. So my windows were always blue, and I'd try to get him not to, to quit smoking or cut down. I told him, I says, I'll make a deal with you guys. I said, I will give you each a cigarette after each meal. I says, and that's all you're going to get to smoke during the day. All right, they agreed. Yeah, that didn't last very long. And all of a sudden, they were back to smoking full again. But other than that, I mean, LeRoy doesn't smoke anymore. Thank goodness.
Yeah, it is kind of a bad habit there.
But it was a very, how would you say, a learning thing for me and LeRoy. And I'm not sorry that we did it. I'm not. I don't know if I'd care to do it now.
no, I wouldn't, because
Yeah,
the older you get, the worse it is to take care of somebody else.
Sometimes she'd come
You
up
have to
behind me and
take
she'd
that
grab
trouble.
me around the waist and she'd just squeeze me and shake me, and I says, Ruthie, what's that all about?
Well,
Oh, she says, I don't know.
the way you can look at it too is that you made a difference in their lives.
Well, I sure
you
hope
help.
so.
You give them something positive when their life wasn't necessarily so
Yeah,
full of that.
I surely hope we did.
Yeah.
And,
Some
I
cows.
gotta show you some of our cows.
That's the cows, yeah.
Some moo cows.
Milk
Those
cows,
are our
yeah.
Holsteins. I
That's
have a
just
picture.
a few.
I don't know where I
Calf. The calf is doing the milking there.
Oh.
I think this is
Okay, yeah, here the calf is sucking on the cow. See that? And
Yeah,
this
that's
is what
about-
there's eating feed here, I guess.
And is this out here?
No,
No.
that's over.
Over here.
Yeah.
Okay. That's about it that I got.
Okay.